guys, welcome back to my channel. It's G from Happiness and Crafting. So it's Shabby Saturday. So today we will be making some bows. Now I've made quite a few here and I've got a little basket of them in here as well. These are practice bows. So I'm loving them. These are all sort of like obviously shabby colours that I use. So we are going to be making different ones today. I'll show you a few different ways of making them, which I'm loving. I am loving. Look at this lovely bow. Look at that. That's just beautiful. Loving this ribbon. Just gorgeous. This is a little one without a little tail, which is nice to go on a little project. This one is made out of sort of like an old bit of sheet that I coloured. This is another little bit of organza ribbon. Of course, we have a little bit of, what's it called? Seam binding. A little bit of seam binding. Now my camera's at a different angle because I wanted to show you sort of like see if it's easier to see how I do it. So that's a little double bow. This is a lovely one, and this I've actually added the little sort of like button to the bow. I've attached it to it, not by sticking it, by actually when I'm making the bow, I've attached it so you know it's not going to fall off. This one I just love. I think this one is just so pretty. Look how shabby that looks. Isn't that just gorgeous? Loving them. So lots and lots of different ones on here. What have we got? This one has got a nice little bit of bling on there. A little soft one. This is like a little triple bow. And this is another bit of ribbon. So right, I'm gonna, oh that's, we don't need that, but I'm gonna pop these to the side and then I'm gonna show you what things I'm gonna be using. Now I've got some seam binding. Now I love seam binding, you know, ribbon bows. I'm just loving them. So I actually coloured this morning. This is coloured just with some Liquitex inks, which is lovely. So I've got some nice purplies, and this one was done with a sort of brown colour. And then we've got the pink. We have some lovely ribbon, not ribbon, we have lace. We have some a little bit more lace and lace and lace and lace. So we've got lots of lovely little bits and pieces here. I also have it in like these ones. We have this like sort of satiny ribbon on there. This is that lovely big one. What have we got here? We've got a little bit of organza, purple ribbon there. We got the white one. We've got all sorts of bits, and then I've got some lace here as well, and this one, which is in this lovely browny colours, which is really nice. And I also got this one. I haven't made one with this yet, but I think that might be a little bit difficult, but we shall see. We will give it a go. Got my pin cushion with pin in it. I've got my glue gun on, just in case we need that. Now, to start with, let's go with the darker purple because that might be a little bit easier to see. Now, to make a bow, I just, you know, it's quite, you know, some people can make bows and some people can't. Some days I can make a really nice bow, and then other days it just turns out into a real big mess. But what I normally do, I just sort of like take my finger like that, squeeze those together so you've got like a little loop, wrap that round, and then just push that through that back hole, and then pull that tight, and then you just sort of like pull either bit like that, don't you, to even that up, and then pull it tight. So that is just like a little basic bow. Now practice, it's practice, isn't it, making bows? The more you make, the better you get. So there we go, that's a little simple bow. So I'm just going to take my scissors, just snip that off, make that look a little bit tidy. So there we go, nice easy bow like that. Again, you can pop whatever you like in the middle. I've got all sorts of little bits and pieces in here. So we've got a little flower on there, which would look really pretty on there, wouldn't it? So that's lovely. So I won't add too much to the middles at the moment because I think they're nice left like that until you sort of like pop it onto, you know, your project that you're using. Then you can embellish it with something that will actually go with the project. So that's a really easy one. Again, let me just do my scissors up. This one I find really difficult because I've seen people do it. You take a loop, then you make another loop, and then you're supposed to put that, twist that round and then put it through. But I get all confused with this one. I don't know whether you're one that can do it like that, but I find it really difficult to do. Do you know what I mean? I just make a big mess. So you might be one that can actually do it. So you're supposed to put a loop like that, take another loop, so you've got two like that, and then you put that one and tie sort of like a knot, like I suppose you're doing a shoelace up, but I just find it very, very confusing. But that's how you're supposed to do it. Take two loops and put them together. But yeah, it's not really me. It's not how my fingers work. It does come out as a bow, look. It does come out as a bow, but I find that really sort of quite fiddly to do. So let's try another one. Let's try a little bit of lace. So again, sewing. Can you see this lace white? I just find it easier to go through and pull it quite tight like that. And then we've got a nice little bow. So you can sit there and you can make lots of little handmade bows like that. Can you see? Because that's really, really simple, isn't it? But yeah, I don't know whether you guys can do the double loopy bow, but that's really pretty. But I find it really confusing. For some reason, it just doesn't work for me. I just love seam binding ribbons. Now I'm going to show you how to make a double loopy one. So I'm going to just take two pieces and put them together. And then we are going to just take those two and do the same as we did making just a one loopy one. So you just take the two pieces like that and pull that quite tight like that. So pull it so they're nice, and then you've got like a little double loop, little double bow like that. Oh, that one's a bit longer. Let's pull that through. Oops, not that one. You want to pull this one. There we go. There we go. So we've got a double loop like that. So I'm just going to snip that down. They're not very level, but snip that off. And then we've got like this lovely double loop. So you're just sort of like putting together two bows, if you know what I mean, two pieces. And you could probably do that with two different colours. Oh, should we try that? So these are just hand ones. These are just hand bows, if you know what I mean. Let's take these two. Let's try and do this like this. Like that. So you can take two different colours. You could probably take two different, oh gosh, that didn't work. Probably two different materials as well. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be the seam binding. Or that like that. And there we go. You could, look at that. You can do two different colours. Look at that. That's a little bow. That's quite nice, isn't it? I'm not going to keep that one though. Right, so that's our little hand ones. So that's just tying them as you would do. So the next one I'm going to do like a sewn bow, which is very, very, very simple. I'm going to use this lovely thicker ribbon, and we are going to just take it like that, just so we've got like folding it. So that sort of the end bit is in the middle. Then I'm going to take that back again, just so it loops a little bit bigger than the first one, like that. And then I'm going to just cut this piece off like that. So it's looped. Can you see? We've just looped it through. Now what we want to do, this is going to be a sewn one, so what we want to do, we want to sew through the middle. So I'm going to take my needle and thread, and I'm going to just pop it up through there, through the end, and then just do a few little stitches through the middle of your little bit of ribbon, like that. Pull that tight, make sure your threads are together, there we go. Pull that tight, and that just pulls it through like that. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to just take it and wrap that around so we are nice and tight. There we go. Take our needle, pop it up through there like that. I'm going to do a little stitch in there. Oops, if I can get the end. And there we go, look at that. So that's just tied together, so that's really, you know, easy to do. So that's a nice little one for on a little package, isn't it? Stick that in my little pin cushion. So there we go, that's lovely. Now to do the you can leave that like that and actually add a little something on the top, or like this one, this is the one we're doing, you can add two little sort of tails to it. So I'm going to just cut a little piece off like that, pop them together, fold it in half, and then we want to get that little pointy bit. Let's pop those away like that. So we've got the little pointy bits at either end. Now this does fray quite a lot, so I'm just going to just hit that with my lighter like that, just so it doesn't start fraying. This is sort of like an organza ribbon. So I want to take my thread again, and I'm going to just tie a little knot in there. Now obviously it's thicker, the thicker the better it is, isn't it? So we're going to take the wider, should I say, just take that up, oops, like that, and we just go through there like that, and then I'm just going to do just a little running stitch through there like that. So this is a nice one if you sew, if you like to sew, and then we'll just pull that tight again, wrap that around like we did on the bow like that, pull it tight, little threads there, and just do a little stitch just to hold that in place if I can. There we go. Pull that tight, pop that into my pin cushion before I chop that off. There we go. So then we've got like a little bow bit, and then I'm going to take this bit and we're going to glue that with a little bit of glue gun. You can sew it if you want to, or you can stick it with your glue gun. I'm just going to glue that on, so it's nice and quick and simple. So that will just glue on there like that, and then we can just put an extra little bit of ribbon around this bit. Oops, let's hold that on for a minute, trying to be too quick. Now I find it really difficult, let's just hold that and we'll just wait for that to dry for a second, to hand make a bow like this with thicker ribbon. I find it really, really difficult, and I don't think it looks very nice. Do you know what I mean? So if you try, so doing it like this is a lot nicer than sort of like trying to make a bow and make it look nice. I find it quite difficult with a thicker one, because it's, you can, a lot of fiddling around, you can probably make it look quite nice, but it's not simple, I don't think. Your little bowy bits don't look too good. You can. You know what I mean? That's not too bad, is it? But if you wanted a pretty little bow, that's not bad actually. That's not bad. There we go. That's quite nice, isn't it? I won't keep it because we don't need that one. So let me roll it up. So it is obviously, you can do it, but it's not easy. Right, now we want to cover this little bit up. So what should we use? Shall I just use a little bit of seam binding So we can just open that up, and we want to just wrap a little bit of ribbon. You can have the same ribbon or you can have a different one. I'm going to just put a little bit of glue on here, like that. Stick that down on the back. Bring this little piece up. Pop another little bit of glue there. And stick it on there. We've got, oopsie daisy. Oh, look, I got strings of glue. My glue gun. Moving my bows about. So snip that little bit off, and then we've got, look at that. That's so pretty, isn't it? Isn't that just lovely? Now, if you didn't want to tie a little bit of ribbon around there, again, you can use a little bit of something, little bit of bling. These were little buttons, and I cut the little loop off on these. But again, you can just glue gun on there, or if it's got the little button hole at the back, you can just sew it on. But I just think that's so pretty. Or little flowers on there, all sorts of little bits and pieces you can put on there. You could actually pop a little doily. What we got a little pink flower on there. So, you know, you can just do it however you like. So all your little embellishments can come out. But I'm going to leave like that because I think that looks really pretty. So that's your sewn one, and that's the hand sewn one. Should we do another one? Look, I've got this beautiful lace here. Look at that. That's lovely. So we can make a little floppy sewn one, can't we? Like that. Let's just, should we do a little one? A double one. Like that. There we go. This is got, I dyed this one as well, so I think this is sort of like a brownie dye on this one. Chop that off. Now I need to rethread my, do I need to rethread my thing? I don't know whether I do, but I'm going to just quickly pop that through there like that, so I can tie a knot in here. There should be enough cotton on here for me to have a little knot. Like that. There we go. Take my little needle out. I think that's moved. So I'm going to start again. So it's just folding these in. And then you make like a bigger loop at the back. And then bring that one in like that. Can you see? There we go. I'm going to start this end actually, because we've got the little frilly bit there. I want a sort of flat bit to start with. Pop that up through. Now I'll tell you what happens. I've got these new needles, and they're little ones which are supposed to be easier to thread. I don't know whether you can see that, but I'm finding they're catching on the lace and stuff that I'm using. So I'm going to just thread a normal needle. I don't know whether you've been able to use them. Is that one? That's not one. This is a normal needle. I bought them, but I do find when I'm using them, I don't know whether I'm using it wrong, but they're catching as I go through my fabric. So I was just testing them out, but I'm not 100% sure whether I like them or not. I do have two different ones, because I was just finding something a little bit easier to use. And let me just show you. Is this the other one? Oops, no, that's a pin. Just going to show you this one. We had this one, and it's got, I don't know whether you can see, they've got like a little hook on there, which you can just slot in. If you take a piece of cotton, what I did, I took a piece of cotton, put it across the piece of, oopsie daisy, the needle, and then, oh God, that's not going to work, is it? Let's take this piece, take a new piece, and then I just sort of slid it across, and it went into the little loop like that. but it is getting caught. So I don't know whether I'm doing anything wrong. I don't know whether it's the cotton I'm using, but it doesn't, it's a bit frustrating for me at the moment. And I think this one, and there was another one. Sorry, I'm going off subject a little bit, but this one has got like a little notch at the top. And then it just sort of slides in and pushes down like that, and that goes through. But I found that it was coming out when I was doing my work, when I was sewing. So I need to have a little practice, I think, with those. So let's get back to the bows. Let's get back to the bows. So if you've got any tips for me on how to use them, I would love that. So let's just make this little bow, just because I might be doing something completely wrong. So we're going to make one of these. So we just sort of like do that like we did. So we've got that sort of shape again, sort of like 2 loops there and 2 loops there. I'm just going to just put those together and sew that down. Just do a couple of stitches down through there, like that. There we go. And then we will do another bow. I've got another one as well, which is a fun. Well, it was fun for me. It was one that I saw on YouTube. I was looking for, oh no, I've got that stuck. I was looking for different ways of making bows, but really it's just, you know, they're all pretty similar, aren't they? It's just, okay, I think I got that stuck. Oh God, guys, I'm really not doing a very good job here today, am I? No, that's stuck. Got a little knot in it. Got a little knot in it. Wow, we don't want it all to go to plan, do we? Okay, right. I think we might have to, right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop this one. Stop it. I don't mean stop it. I'm going to redo that one in a minute. And let's do it again. Let's tie a little knot in here. Like that. We'll take a little bit more ribbon. And we will just pop it like that. Make little loops. Little loop like that. And a little loop back. There we go. And then we will just cut this little piece off. Like that. Without chopping my finger. There we go. Turn it over. Like that. And then we will just sew up through. Just a little stitch up through there. Like this. So yeah, I've made quite a few bows. I was getting, you know, really into it. I was making lots and lots. There we go. So let's pull that tight like that. And I'm going to tie that around. This is not coming out either. Oh, yeah, we go. There we go. There we go. Pull that nice and tight. So this is with a lace. This is a little bit of a stretchy lace, so that's probably not even the best one to use. But why make it easy, hey? Let's chop that little bit off there. Like that. And then, oh, I think I just got it caught, that's why. Okay. Let's give it a wiggle. There we go. Pop that on there. That's a little bow. It does look like a bow. So that's like a double bow. I think I got a little bit of the elasticy bit pinched. That's why it sort of ruckled up a little bit. Okay, that looks good. Now I'm going to put a little bit of something on this one. I've got this lovely little creamy sort of bow, not bow, it's a little rose. I think that will look nice on there, like that. And let's squeeze that down. There we go. Got there in the end, didn't we? That's a lovely little one. So these would look nice. I've got some little journaling cards here. Look at that. Won't that look nice on there? They're going to look so pretty on there. So I've got a lovely collection building up over in the corner here. Okay guys, so the next one, so we've done the hand sewing, we've done the actual bows, making them by hand. Then the other thing that I saw on YouTube was making your own like little bow thingy-majiggity contraption. And I did this. I got 2 pieces of dowel wood, which you don't have to use wood, you could use paintbrushes, old paintbrushes, or a couple of pens or something like that, as long as it's smooth. And I put it on something really heavy, so it doesn't move about. I did see the ones that they had on like styrofoam and that Oasis, but it was, you know, it's too light. Now, I don't know whether we're going to be able to see this. This is the top here. This is quite high. I didn't have any smaller dowels. So this is why I used this, and I made loads. This is what I was practicing with this one. So I made loads and loads and loads, which are fabulous. But the only trouble is you can only make a certain size because it's this. You need to be able to move this. These, and I didn't really want to take these off because they're attached to the glass, and that's glue gunned on. So I'm just going to quickly show you. I'm going to put that there. You can just see the tops of that. I hope it's not going to be blurry, but this is how I started. Okay, so I put that around like that, and then I popped that through that little hole. Let's go a bit higher, over the top. And then we just tie a little knot at the back, like that. I probably made that a little bit too small. And then you pull that tight, like that. And you take that off, and you've got this little bow. And they came out absolutely fantastic. I just loved them. They were so simple to do, really, really simple to do. And I just love it. So, starting off like that. That wasn't my first one. I put it onto like a little plastic container, but it just didn't work. It was too light. So this was just a jar of old jewellery. Now you can do this, and I do recommend doing bows like this if you want little ones, because look at that, how cute and simple is that. Now, because I had this and it's not very practical to use, I did order the little one off Amazon, which is this little one here. I'm going to show you. Comes in a little bag. It comes just with instructions like this. So I'm sure there are lots of different bows that you can make, but I'm just doing like a basic bow one today. And you get these little dowels with it. Now, you don't have to buy this. You can do it the way I did it, and you can probably buy these in your local, you might even have these, or you might even have something that you could use and put it onto something really hard, you know, really heavy to use. But I wanted to use this because I wanted these to be able to move, so I could make different size bows. Now, this is the reason I put my camera at a different angle. Not that it's a lot better, but this is the smallest one that you can do. It's got lots of different holes in there, and I haven't quite worked out what they all are. I did put some non-slip stuff which you put under carpets on here, so it didn't move because it was moving around. It was quite, you know, skiddy, should I say. Now, this I absolutely love. I really, really do. Now I'm going to make, let's make a pink one. This is a very pale pink seam binding. Now I'm hoping you can see these two little ones here. So or maybe I should do a bigger one. Let's do a bigger one. You can probably see what I'm doing a little bit better. So let's put these in there like that. I'm going to take this. You've probably all seen these, how these work anyway. You go around, and then this little end bit goes underneath like that, over the top, and then I'm just going to change hands and I'm going to tie a knot. So I'm going to put this bit underneath and then through. I found that way they sort of hang down a little bit better, in the right sort of direction, and that's it. That's how you make a bow. Now, you probably do all have these, but I'm so excited about this. Look at that. What a fab little bow. And that's quite small, so you can imagine the size of the little diddy ones that you can make like that. So these are just fabulous. And look at that. If you've not seen it before, or if you have, I do apologise. I'm just so excited about it. I think it's just fabulous. So I'm going to make a little, let's make a little lacy one. I'm going to put that round there. I'm going to show you a different way in a minute how to do it as well. So I'm going to tie that in a knot like that. I'll go through it a bit slower just in case you haven't seen it in a minute. Look at that. How simple, really, really simple that is to do. And what I did have was, let me got that off. I got my little bits of seam binding in here. So this is well, I was practicing on these little bits. So I was taking little pieces. Oh, that's too big. I've got some little pieces in here. Yeah, well, not gonna find a little piece now on my. Look, we've got a little bit of yellow. That's got a bow on it. So we just went round, cross it over, underneath, over the top, and then I'm going to change hands because, like I said, and then go underneath and just tuck that through because it makes your ribbon lie nicer. I think it sort of hangs it down in the right direction. And then we've got a little bow. So use up, if you get one of these, or if you've got it, use your little scrap pieces of ribbon that you can't, you know, that you're not going to sort of do anything with. So all these little bits are fantastic. So if you've got a little project, and then these bits that I was practicing on, these are making double ones. This is some of my little silk ribbon that I've made a little double one with. So look at all these I've got in my stash. I made a little one with twine. So you do them all exactly the same. And and look at this little diddy one. Look at that little tiny one. Oh, it's fabulous. I love it. I'm going to pop those over there. I'm going to make a little small one just to show you. And then I'm going to make one where we're actually going to attach a little button to it as we tie it. So what shall we have? Let's do this little piece. There's a little spare piece. I'm going to wrap that around. So this is going to be tiny. Cross it over, through underneath the bottom, over the top, and then I'm going to change hands and then just tie a little knot. Just under there, like you would tie a little knot, and then tie that tight. Oops, I'm going to take your little peg out. Then we've got the smallest little bow ever. Look at that. Oh, it's just fabulous. Now, you don't pull it tight with the bow bit. It's this bit. You can't move it because it doesn't come undone because you've got a knot in it. I'll probably show you better with this bigger one. Josh, I mean, so a normal bow, when you do it by hand, pull these and it comes undone. These don't, because you've knotted it. They will not come undone. Josh, I mean, it's this bit which is loose. So if you've got your, let's just take this, put this through. If your bow is a bit wonky, it's the front bit. You can pull this bit, do you know what I mean? And that's will make it bigger one side and not the other. So if you find that your little bow isn't even, pull it from the front because that's the bit that's loose. I think I'm just going to messed up my bow, but that's okay. So this front bit is the loose bit and the back bit, so you can't get that undone. But I love them. I love them. It's really, really excited. Right, what was I going to do? I'm going to take these out and I'm going to make a really pretty bow. I'm going to show you. Let's put them this way, like that, so we've got them this distance apart. You can get lots of different ones of these, but you really, really don't need to buy one. I'll link it underneath, but you can just make your own, like I did. Get a jar and fill it with rice or something and attach something to it, because that's really, really simple. Okay, let us make, I'm going to take some of this, I'm going to take some of this, because I'm going to use these bits. And then what shall we have? I've got, oh, let's just make a thicker one. Let's make one of these with this lovely ribbon here, because I find it easier to do this with a thicker ribbon. You know, you get thinner ribbon, and it's difficult. And I'll make a big one with that one that we did before. With this one, I'll make one with this one as well, just to show you. So again, wrap it round. Take the end, put it underneath, over the top. I'm just gonna, now this one actually I'm going to show you, because this is thicker and it's got sort of like a really pretty pattern this side. What I'm going to do, I'm going to fold that over, or I'm going to fold it this way actually. So when you put that over the top, that's what you're going to see in the middle bit, this bit. So be aware of what's sort of like on the other side, because you can just do it like that, run it over, and then you won't see any of the pretty bit. So sort of make it so you can see that nice pretty bit over the top, and then we will just tie that in a little bow. So I'm not going to tie that tight, I'm just going to tie it around there. Can you see you've got that little nice little bit in the middle? Tie that little bit like that. This bit moves, if you know what I mean. So that's, make sure that's in the middle, so your little two bowie bits are sort of even. I'm probably telling you all this, and you've used these for years, but I'm quite new to this. Well, I am very new to this bow machine. Look at that. Isn't that just lovely? Oh, just in love with it. Just makes life so much easier. Now what I want to do, where's my little bow? This one, I want to show you how to make this one where you get extra little bits with it, if you know what I mean. You've got your little extra dingly dangly bits. So let's take a little bit of this lace here. I'm going to do it again, pop it around, down like that. Take that, take it over the top, just sort of fold that over a little bit so we've got a nice, the other side. Wrap that around, and then before you actually, I'm going to tie that, you want to keep this loop, okay? There's a little hole through there before you tie the knot. Now I'm going to get my little, I got a little thingy-majig. I'm going to take one of my little pegs, look, and hold on to that. So I've got my loop there. Can you see? There's like a little hole there before we tie it. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a piece of this and a piece of this. You can just use little scraps, offcuts of things. Let's take a little bit of lace as well. I'm going to take these three and I'm going to pop those through that hole like that. Hold on, take my peg off, and that is through the hole before I actually pull that tight. Now these will move, they don't have to be in the exact space, but pull that tight, and then we have all these little dingly dangly bits coming down. Look, if I turn that round, can you see? That's your little bow with all your little extras on there. Now you can move it. I'm going to just take that off. Look at that. So you've got all your little dingly dangly bits hanging down. Just love them. Now again, if you wanted a bigger bow, you just move these little ones and put them as big as you want. I haven't made a big bow yet, but I will probably do another video on that if I haven't confused you so far. But look at that, just fabulous. I'm just going to cut these little bits just so they've got a little pointy bit on, like that. Look at that. Now I'm going to stick something on that. Now which would be the front or the back? The back could be the front as well, couldn't it? So these are just lovely. I'm going to stick something on this one. What did we have? I put one of my little flowers on this one, but oh, just love them. What should we have? Should we have this? Look at that. Oh, I like that. This was a little button, which I've taken the back off. I've just snipped that little bit off there. Let's just tidy that up. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my pliers again, and I'm just going to push that so it's flat. I like to squeeze it so you get like a little flat base on there. It's a little spongy, but that's okay. Oh, what am I doing? I need a bit of glue. A little bit of glue on there. Take our little metal button and push that on so it's nice and tight. And that's stuck on there really nicely. And look at that. Isn't that just gorgeous? So these would look, remember we made the little hearts, the little wire and lace hearts. These, if you had lots and lots hanging off, you have a little bow at the top, that would look fabulous. Just loving them. So the other one that I wanted to show you was, where is it? Where's it gone? This one. This is just fab. Now this one, I've actually added this to when I've actually made the bow. So let me show you how to do that. Should we make one like that? What have I got that I can... Oh, I've got these. Should we make another one similar? Let's do the same one. There we go. Then I will have two that are matching. So I'm going to take this, which is lovely, and it's just like a little button back, so you can use any sort of like thing that you've got, like a little loop in the back. So again, I'm going to take some of these pieces. I'm going to take a long piece of this, bring our little... Did I use how big? I think I only used it sort of like this wide. So I'm going to take my ribbon, wrap it round, and then I'm going to wrap it round again. So we've got like a double. I think actually I'm going to make it bigger. I think it was probably about that big. So I'm going to take that, I'm going to wrap it round again. So you wrap it round twice. Now you can wrap it round as many times as you like. It's entirely up to you. So let's just pull that like that. And this one, I'm going to get my little peg again. What do I do with my little peg? There we go. I'm just going to hold that on there. So these are really handy. The end, I am going to thread this through. So you don't want a big thick piece of ribbon. That goes through there like that. Okay. Take my little peg off. So that's wrapped round. This bit with the little button on will go up underneath there. Push that button down so it's in the middle. So we've got the button, look, in there. Pull that tight. Turn it around, make the little knot. This little button will move, so don't worry about it if it's not in the right place, because it can, you know, move about. So that, look at that. Isn't that just fab? So you know that that's not going anywhere. And then I can, oh actually, what I did do, I pulled that really tight, but that's, I can undo it. Let's just loosen this a little bit. I'm going to take my pokey tool in there. Just unloosen that little knot, because I can add in, like we did on the last one, through that little loop, a little bit more of this. So I'm going to cut that off. I'm going to pop another 2 pieces of the ribbon through like this. Poke that through that little hole like we did before, like that. Pull that through, and then we just tie that back up a little bit tight like that, and then these will just hang down. Take this off if I can. There we go. Pop that to the side, and look at that, guys. And then this has got a little double bow on there like that. These little bits can be pulled to the right length like that, and then you've got a little dingly dangly. You can cut those to the, you know, so they're all sort of level, but that is just attached onto there, and that is not going anywhere at all, which I just think is fabulous. Look at that. Now, shall I cut them so they're all level? You need to sort of scrunch them up so they sort of like hang down nicely. Give these a little trim, just so they are, you know, a little bit level. I think those two are a little bit level. And then you've got this lovely little bow. Just think they are fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. I might need to tie that a little bit tighter, I think. Which one is it? Is it this one? Nope. Let's find the ends. I don't know which the ends are now. Oh well, I will just tie that a little bit tighter in a minute. But love it. I just think they are fabulous. Now, let's make a one with this big ribbon, and then we will be done then, I think. I've been nattering on for a long time, but I'm so excited about this. So we're going to just wrap that around. Shall we do a bigger one? Shall we do it like that? So I'm going to wrap this around. I'm not going to do it. Not going to take it off the roll, because I don't think we need to. Should I do a double one? So you're going to do a double one, just wrap it round again. Like that. Let's pull that tight. Underneath. Oh, actually, I haven't done that very well, have I? Let's do that again. Wrap that around like that. Around again. I'm going to take this up through there. I'm going to do it so we've got just a single bow and no little dingly dangly bit. So let's make that a little bit tidy on this side. Just make sure everything is nice and tidy there. And then we will just, if we can, I think I've done that a little bit too short, but that's okay. Let's pop that through there. Pull that nice and tight, like that. Cut this one off. Pull that out. Cut that to the side, and then we've got a little double bow. I'm going to cut these little bits off because we don't need this bit on there. Little long bits. You can cut those off, and we have a little double bow like that. Look at that. How lovely is that, and how simple it is to make. Now that little inside bit is coming at the top, so you can have both coming from the top, or you can have one at the bottom and one at the top, if you know what I mean. But look at that, and I like the way that that sort of like got a little twist in it. So, and that can just be stuck onto a little card. What else have we got? Look at that. Just beautiful. What do we got? Look at that on a little card. Little gift on the front of your journals, anything like that. But I'm just loving them. So I could just carry on making these in all different ribbons and things like that. But I could be going on all day long. So I hope you could see that properly. And I hope you got my excitement, because I do love them, loving this colour. So we did we hand stitched them, which is a good way of doing it if you like to do that. We made them by hand, and we made them with the little the little contraption, but again, you don't need this. Just get yourself a weighted jar, something heavy, and you can use like this. Look, this is just a paintbrush. If you've got little old ones that you know that you've they're really hard or something, or the bristles are falling out, and attach them to something. You could have a couple of different ones. Just on me, if you wanted thicker ones, you could have a couple of little jars with little paintbrushes and stuff onto them, different sizes, and you can make your bows. But I purchased this from Amazon, and I think it was like €10. So I know I will use this a lot. So I will see if I can do other different bows. But I think that's enough for today. That's enough of my excitement. So loving it. So these are all our lovely bows. Nice little shabby bows on there. Again, look at these. That's just a little bit of cheeseclothy. This was like curtain material that I coloured, so you can make some nice shabby ones. But I've got them all here like this. Look at that lovely big bunch of them. So these will be going in my stash, ready to go on to journals, and which are fab. And I will be making some little itty-ditty ones as well, because little ones like this, because these are the ones I will probably use the most. It's the smallest ones, which I just love as little embellishments, but loving them. So there we go, guys. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope that makes sense. I hope that you could see properly what I was doing. But I am just loving them, absolutely loving them. So look at that, just beautiful. You can come up with all your different designs. We've got a little diddly one. Oh, this one I actually made out of that ribbon, and then these were, I cut each little one into 3. So I actually chopped those up so it looks like you've got lots more dingly dangly bits instead of 2 big pieces on that one. But just love them, so love them. So yeah, so there we go, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a fantastic rest of the day. Take care, stay safe, and I will see you soon. All right, guys, bye-bye.